Hi everyone, I am back for another Bible study video. We're going to finish up 2 Corinthians today. I'm going to try not to make this video 40 minutes, but never know. Chapter 10. Paul says he is timid but bold when he speaks from afar. So like when he's writing and through messengers, because when he was in jail or when he was traveling, he had messengers and he would write letters to the different churches and then his home church. He says we demolish arguments, every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, taking captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. Pretension meaning an assertion or claim to something. So anything that comes against the knowledge of God, they just taking it, captive and, not giving in to it. Because God is the only way, truth, and light. I would have like a big old bump or pimple right there. Paul says we will be ready to punish every act of disobedience once their obedience is complete. Their meaning the church that he was writing to. Pretty much saying he said once we learn to obey God completely, we will have authority to punish wrongdoers, people who disobey God. So again, he says, we will be ready to punish every act of disobedience once the church obedience is complete. So once you, the church, meaning you, us, the people that he was writing to, meaning, once we learn to obey God, his laws, his statutes, all of that we will be able to punish wrongdoers, and not get in trouble for it. For example, like now I'm not talking about killing or murdering or none of that, but because you leave that to God, but I'm just saying, like, when someone does you wrong and you are a child of God, you have the authority to rebuke them. However, you can't be a demon, child going around here saying you're a child of God and then rebuking the real children of God, because then you're going to get punished by God. Make sure that you are a child of God, not a pretender, not an imposter. You gotta know you're a child of God, because you will feel God on you, the Spirit of God on you. However, there are many false spirits and things that go out. So is the Spirit of God. You'll know you have the Spirit of God on you because you will feel a peace, a calm. It's a true peace and calm, so where it blocks out all the negativity and distractions of the world. And you'll know because you won't be, when you have that spirit on you, like it just blocks out all the negativity. It's cold outside and these freaking nets is still out here. I'm like swiping nets. Paul says people say his letters are impressive, but in person he is unimpressive. Paul says they can be assured he means what he says in his letters to them. So Paul continues to say, that he's not a professional speaker, and so pretty much he's kind of getting backlash from a lot of the people around him because his letters are coming off so strong. So pretty much he's a good writer, but he's not a good speaker. Something like me, like I can write really good, but when it comes to speaking, it's not something that I'm a professional at. It's not something that I'm good at. So I just say, when I do speak, when I do, I just try to be myself as much as possible. That's all I can do. But Paul says people say his letters are unimpressive. Paul says people say his letters are impressive, but in person he is unimpressive. Paul says they can be assured he means what he says in his letters to them. Paul says to do Paul says to do not boast in your own work, but boast only in the Lord Yahweh. The one who commends himself is not approved, but the one whom the Lord commends is approved. And commends is meaning praise formally or unofficially, also present as suitable for approval or acceptance or recommend. So the one who commends himself, talks, try to, be arrogant, or whatever about himself, is not approved by God. But the one who the Lord commends, the one the Lord speaks highly of, is approved. And you know it. You know the one who God speaks highly of. God speaks highly of the people. You'll know, because they're not going to be like in your face. They're not going to be the people that God speaks highly of, the world does not like. Put it like that. I wrote down the definition for assertion. I'm trying to see where did I say that at? It's this red car that just keep coming up and just staring at me while it's some creepy ass people over here, boy. But he don't know, like, I'm a child of God, but I fight too, like, I whoop his ass. It's some weird ass dude in a red car that just keep like going around in a circle and then coming like right there on the corner and just stopping staring over here. I fight men and women. Look, I whoop ass when I got to. Yeah, I don't know where I said assertion at, but you know, I put the definition down here. Assertion, meaning a confident and forceful statement or of fact or belief, or exercising authority confidently and forcefully. But I'm trying to see, where did I say? I'm looking over this like 3-4 times. Where did I say assertion? Like, I'm trying to think of like why did I write that definition down? Yeah, I don't know why though. But anyway, the only thing I can think of is why I may have wrote that is when I said Paul says, when I was saying Paul says people say his letters are impressive, but in person he is unimpressive. And Paul says they can be assured he means what he says in his letters to them. So I'm thinking that I may have wrote assertion down for definition when I was trying to write down assured. But I don't know. But assured, when Paul says they can be assured, he means assured means, like you can bet on it, like for sure, confidently, that what he says in his letters to them, that he means what he's saying. Like he's not saying it, for attention. Like he's saying it, because he means what he says. But okay, so I wrote the definition of assertion because in the definition of pretension, it says an assertion or claim to something. And so let's backtrack. I said he says we demolish every argument, every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, taking captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. And I was writing, and I was letting you know the definition of pretension is an assertion or claim to something. And I was letting you know the definition of assertion is a confident or forceful statement of fact or belief, or exercising authority confidently and forcefully.